"Watch me make her cry," my husband whispered to his brother. He thought I didn't hear him, thought I was too busy carving ham and pretending not to notice the glances between him and the woman seated 2 chairs down, the one whose fingers shook every time I smiled at her. Then he raised his glass. "Barren and worthless," he said with a grin. "But hey, at least she makes a killer roast." I didn't cry. I placed the gravy boat down, reached into the side drawer, and pulled out the envelope. The clinic seal was still intact, for dramatic effect. I walked to him slowly. The room quieted like a held breath. He smirked until I opened the letter and held it to his face. "Your sperm count is 0, Liam." He blinked. I had circled the results in red ink. Big, bold, underlined. A number so small it may as well have been non-existent. His hands trembled. And her, his mistress, she froze. Her palm shot to her belly like instinct, like fear, not surprise. She wasn't shocked by his infertility. She was terrified, I knew, because she was hiding something, and I did know. Liam and I met 7 years ago in a winter storm. He pushed my car when it stalled, flashed that crooked grin, and asked if I believed in fate. I did then. He was warmth and wit and strength, or so I thought. We tried for years to conceive. Through tears, injections, hope, and hospital lights, I carried the guilt he never should have let me hold. And every time I cried, he told me I was enough, until I wasn't. It started small. He stopped asking about my doctor visits, started working late, locked his phone. He began wearing cologne again, the one he said gave him migraines. One night, while folding his laundry, I found a receipt for a gold bracelet, engraved, "Grow with me." I didn't confront him. Instead, I smiled, kissed his cheek, and checked our bank statements. The affair wasn't hard to confirm. She'd left breadcrumbs in the form of hotel bookings and spa treatments. Always paid in cash, but always near his business trips. Her name was Mara. She was his secretary. Slim, submissive, predictable. Pregnant, but the baby wasn't his. And that was my favorite part. I scheduled an appointment at the fertility clinic, alone, requested both of our results be retested. When they handed me his file and said, "No viable sperm found," I smiled. He had called me broken. He had no idea he was shooting blanks his whole life. I had the paperwork verified 3 times. Then I started building. First, I updated our prenup. He hadn't noticed I slipped in a clause about adultery and inheritance. Next, I created a trail, one that made Mara believe I'd never found out. I left her anonymous messages, notes on her windshield, just enough to fray her nerves, to make her doubt him, to make her desperate. Then I invited both of them to Easter dinner. His brother knew, of course he knew. They always whispered when I left the room, boys' club secrets. But he didn't know what I had planned. When I exposed Liam's infertility, silence blanketed the table like snow. And Mara, sweet, shaking Mara, gripped her belly like it might leap from her body. I turned to her. "You sure it's his?" She didn't answer, but I already knew. The real father, a barista, 23, works at the cafe where Mara gets her daily latte. He was proud when I told him, thought he'd won something, until I showed him the NDA. Mara was trapped. Liam was sterile, and I was free. I moved the next morning, quietly, efficiently. The divorce papers were already filed, and he lost everything. Adultery voided his stake in my company. The house? Mine. The car? Gone. I had the locks changed before he got home. He tried to contact me, voicemails filled with venom, then begging, then rage. I saved every one. There for court. A week later, he came to my office, desperate and red-eyed. "He's not mine," he choked out. I handed him a paternity test. The envelope unopened, the results inside damning. He ripped it open, read it, and broke. "What did you do?" he whispered. I leaned in, calm, steady. "I watched you plan to humiliate me. I watched you lie. I watched you fail." He stepped back like my voice cut deeper than the truth ever could. "Now you watch." Word spread. His job didn't survive the scandal. His brother stopped returning calls. And Mara? She moved to her mother's, alone. I heard she's considering adoption. Or maybe just abortion. Funny how betrayal changes people. Last week, I saw Liam at the grocery store. He looked smaller, paler, like someone had drained the power from his limbs. He didn't speak, just stared. Like he wanted to ask a question, but already knew the answer would hurt. I smiled, paid for my wine, walked past him like I'd never memorized his laugh. He knows now. Knows he was never enough. Knows that the woman he tried to break watched him shatter instead. Knows what it feels like to be discarded, worthless, and alone. And he knows someone else took his.